Hello, family. I'm Dr. Nia J., pastoral therapist and certified relationship coach. If this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I've been in ministry for almost 40 years, pastored for 24 years, been working with individuals and couples for a very long time. I've married a lot of couples. I do individual therapy. I do family counseling. I also do couples counseling. My favorite thing to do is help people find and get into and maintain good, healthy relationships because it is very, very possible to do so. I've been married for 48 years and with my husband for 54. So relationships is what I love to do. So let's get into this video. The purpose of this video is to talk to singles who are seeking to get into good, healthy relationships. I have 5 of what I call my 5 top tips to help you in that area. Okay, so I'm going to be looking down at my notes because I don't want to get off track. I want to stay focused. So one of the first things I would say, the first tip is understanding who you are. I know it sounds crazy. I know who I am. I've been in this body all of these years, but guess what? We're always transforming. We're always changing. Always, always, always. Sometimes intentionally because we're putting in work to make a change. Other times because of things that have happened in our lives, whether they be traumatic or whether they be good things. Things are happening and we change, from our core or at our core. We may be who we have always been, but things cause us to change. So it's important that you understand who you are right now. You might not be the same person you were 5 years ago or in that last relationship. So one thing I encourage you singles, and this is what I do with all of my clients, whether they're coming to me for family, couples, or individuals, and that's to do an assessment. It's called 16personalities.com. 16, not the word 16. They are not paying me. I have no stock in that company at all. But the reason why I like it is because it's practical, takes 10 minutes or less. And if you answer the questions honestly, it will nail who you are on the head. And what I like about it also is that it goes into various things, your strengths, your weaknesses, how your personality is in relationships sometimes, how it is with family, with friends, on the job, all of those things. So I always encourage people, do a personality test, 16personalities.com, inexpensive because it's cheap, it's free. Do that, and then you compare it to who you are. Not that I got to walk around with this paper. This just says this is who I am. No, but you need to understand who you are. You cannot really understand what you want, really, and what you need until you understand who you are. From the time we exit the womb, things have been imparted in us. No child can raise him or herself. You just can't, right? So we're under governing mom, dad, aunties, uncles, grandparents. Then you go to school, teachers, go to church if you go to church, pastors, all kind of influence, everybody imparting. Some of the impartation is good. Some of the impartation is not good. And so a lot of times what I find is as we grow and we begin to develop our belief system, we don't even know whether the belief system that we have is truly what we believe. We have developed it because so many things have been imparted into me. But now I need to take the time to wait a minute, hold on, slow everything down. Let me take the time and do some self-discovery and find out who I really am and find out what my belief systems are. That's a great starting point because how would you know what you want or need if you don't even know who you are? So that's tip number 1, understand who you are. Tip number 2, after you understand who you are, understand what it is that you want and need. Understand what you want and need. In order for me to understand what it is that I want, I have to also know what it is that I don't want. what it is that I don't want. And this is an area where a lot of red flags are missed. There'll be red flags that will be happening, and because this person looks a certain way, or because he or she has a certain amount of money, has a certain amount of influence or whatever, I might totally bypass what it is I said I wanted, or what it is that I said I needed, because I want to be with this person so much. No, I encourage people, when you are understanding, finding out what it is that you want, what it is that you need, document that. Write it down, say it in a voice text, record it somewhere, write it somewhere, put it down. Because why, Dr. Nia J? Because you know what? Because it's important for you to go back on what you said and remind yourself of what it is that you said. I am the one that said, no, I absolutely cannot be with a man or with a woman that does thus and so. And so now this new person is entering your life, and you're just so enamored with this person. And guess what? They're doing the very thing that you said, absolutely, I don't want that. So you need something to remind yourself that this is what I said that I did not want, I did not need, or I do want and I do need. And understand, wants and needs are not the same. I know that's elementary. I don't have to break that down. But you still want to make sure you understand what you want and what you need. Number 3, the third tip. Now, here's a big one. Here is a big one. And here is an area where people that I have seen in my practice, they get stuck. And that third area that I'm saying is forgiveness. Absolute and total forgiveness. And that is forgiving any of your past relationships where you have been harmed and or you have been wronged. Forgiving. And I know it's an old adage, an old cliche, but it is so true. Forgiveness is for you. It absolutely is not for the other person. It's for you. I was just talking to somebody today on the phone and telling them that. I'm like, you have to understand, when you are ready to go and tell someone, I forgive you, you're not supposed to be focused on whether they accept that or not. You could go to somebody and say, you know what, you hurt me 2 years ago, and I just want to have this conversation with you to tell you that I forgive you. That person can look you in the face and say, I don't care. I didn't do nothing. That's in your head that you think I did something. I don't care whether you forgive me or not. Now, you got one or two things you can do. You can take that and get angry, start cussing at them, stomping, throwing stuff, and acting a fool. And I knew I should have never forgave you. Or you could understand forgiveness wasn't for them anyway. The forgiveness is for me to release you from me, get you out of my soul. So now I am free to move on with my life. So then it doesn't matter to me whether you accept the fact that I'm forgiving you, because I'm doing this for me. If you do not forgive, I need y'all to hear me and hear me well. If you do not forgive, you will carry segments, remnants of that unforgiveness over into your next relationship. There's no way you're not going to do that. It is going to happen. So tip 3, search yourself. I don't care if the relationship was 10 years ago and there's still that sting that's in there. Forgive. And sometimes the forgiveness is not even approaching the person. I tell people in my practice, you approach the person, you do a one-on-one if you feel that's what needs to be done. But you don't always have to talk to the person to forgive. Sometimes the person is no longer even with us. They passed on, so you're not going to have that conversation, but it's releasing from your spirit in a way that I am done with this. This can no longer stunt me. This can no longer hold me hostage. I can no longer be stunted in this place or having the feeling like I met Sally. Lord, where did I come up with Sally? I know black folk named Sally no more. But anyway, I met Sally. And she reminds me of something that Mary used to do. Now I got an attitude with Sally because of what Mary did. Guess what? Sally is not Mary. Forgive Mary so you and Sally can go ahead. All right, now, tip number 4. I said this wasn't going to be a long video. I told myself that. Oh my God. Tip number 4. Understand your concept of dating. I'm going to say it again. Understand your concept of dating. Listen, y'all. I cannot tell you how many times the two concepts of dating, the people that are supposed to be dating, one is clear north, the other one is clear south. They not even meeting in the middle anywhere. Here's an example. If your concept of dating is, okay, we've gone on 4 or 5 dates or whatever, and we're really into each other, and my heart is starting to get attached a little bit. We're talking on the phone, we're texting, FaceTime, and whatever we're doing. And so in my mind, because of my concept of dating, we're exclusive because we're moving towards commitment. So we're exclusive. I know the way that we are connecting. I know I'm not talking to anybody else. So then the assumption is neither are you. Now, the other person's concept of dating could be, we ain't had that conversation. We have not talked about being exclusive. We have not talked about being committed. And although we are flowing together really, really good, my concept of dating is I can date whoever I want to. Go out. We ain't exclusive. And so you understand with that example that I gave you, two people that are starting to come together, they're starting to date, they've got a lot of things in common, and they're in a good space. And then one way may find out while the other one went out on a date or started seeing something. Well, wait a minute. Now there's an argument. Why is there an argument? Because you never had the discussion. So you must understand what is my concept? What do I consider dating to be? And so that when you enter into a new relationship, when that thing starts budding, have the conversation. I tell my people all the time, talk about everything, leave out nothing. One of the worst things that we can do is automatically assume that the other person should know. The way our human brain works, we automatically think the way that we think, everybody else should think that way. Because why? Well, that's just common sense. I think that way. Why shouldn't you? Well, guess what? Your brain is not their brain. Your life experiences are not theirs. Their life experiences, along with DNA and everything else, is influencing the way that they think. So if their concept of dating is not what your concept of dating is, this is something you guys need to know early on in a relationship so that you are clear. I tell clients all the time, to me, this married woman who's been working with couples for years, to me, dating, and this is for people who want to be in a long-term relationship and eventually get married. Dating is a process of elimination. That's the way I see it as a therapist when I'm working with people who want to be in a long-term relationship. Not casual folk that, I ain't ever want to tie down. No, talk about you. Talking about the ones who want to be in a long-term relationship that leads to marriage. So what is dating? It truly is the process of elimination. Okay, so I went out with Jamal 4 or 5 times. Okay, Jamal, that more black. I went out with Jamal 4 or 5 times. Okay, things are working out really, really well, but we're not exclusive. So, Tyrone, asked me out on a couple dates, whatever. Went out with Tyrone, whatever. Absolutely not. That brother was a whole fool. I mean, boo-boo, the entire fool. Absolutely not. So what did you just do? You just eliminated Tyrone because this isn't somebody that I can be with. So that's a concept of dating. How do I see dating? Do I see it as the process of elimination, or do I see it as something that's casual? understand your own concept. Okay, so my final tip for singles who want to be in a committed relationship, oh God, stop ignoring red flags. Those red flags are there for a reason. And sometimes when I'm working with couples or working with singles who have just gotten out of relationships, and they're telling me the whole story, and my mind is going on, and I was like, from what I'm hearing come from your mouth, there was not a red flag. There was a marching band, and all of them were waving red flags. Stop ignoring red flags. That goes back to step one. Know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what you need, you will immediately know something will stand up in you and say, no, this is a red flag. Let me just stop this right now before I move further in, and now my heart is involved. In my practice, I call my practice spirit mind healing, spirit mind health. Kingdom Life Counseling is the name of my practice, but it's spirit mind. The spirit part because I've been a minister for almost 40 years. And the middle part, well, because I've got degrees and I have a degree in clinical mental health counseling. So I merged the two. But here is what I always tell people. These are two places that you have to learn how to bypass. The mind. The mind can overthink anything, or the mind can underthink. Sometimes there's nothing going on, the Mary Sally situation, but the mind will overthink. And then when I'm following what my mind is saying, I'm overthinking now. Here's the other thing, the heart. The heart just wants what it wants. If it wants to love, it wants to love. And the heart will bypass and ignore a red flag in a heartbeat. So then what's left? Your intuition, what I call your spirit man. That is what's left. And it's not just women that have intuition. We all have it. We're human, created by God. So it's put in all of us. What is that thing that's deep in your gut? You hear the police say, I got a gut feeling. What is that thing that's in your gut? What is it saying to you? Because it's not thinking and it's not feeling. It's a sense, it's a knowing that is there, and it is something that will come up in you and say, wait a minute, something ain't right. And here's the thing, good people, family, you don't always have to know what the something is. When it comes from your spirit man, and there's a sense that something isn't right, believe that. Because sometimes we don't see the thing, from the outset. It could be 3 or 4 months in and they're like, whoa, I see a whole nother side of this person. But then when you go back, you know what you will say? I felt something. I knew it was something, couldn't put my finger on it. Stop ignoring red flags. When family and friends and people that really love you, care for you, have no ulterior motives, and want the best for you, when all of them are saying the same thing, it's usually true. I'm not saying it's true all the time. It's usually true. So when those red flags show up, stop it at that place before you get in deeper, because you don't want to get to a point of no return. Listen, I've been doing this work for over 30 years now. And I have seen some things, I've heard some stories, and I've had to bear witness in court situations. And let me just tell you this, it's a lot of ugliness, a lot of evilness out there, but there's a whole lot of good people that have good love in their heart, and they're good for you. But don't you dare overlook those red flags. Stop it at the pass. So again, my top 5 tips for singles who are seeking good, healthy relationships: understand who you are, understand what you need and want, make sure you have forgiven if you haven't, stop and do, understand your concept of dating, and stop ignoring red flags. Listen, if this content has blessed you, has helped you in any way, please, by all means, subscribe. This is a new channel. I've been doing this for a long time, but I decided to come on here and try to help some people. Please subscribe and please share. Please like and comment. I welcome your comment, and I will answer to the best of my ability. And also, if there's some areas in the whole dating or marriage arena, whatever, that you would like me to do a video on, please put it in the comments and I certainly will do so. Until next time, you all take good care. Bye-bye.